Good evening. Time to get started. I'd like to welcome Illinois head coach Shauna Green, student athletes Kendall Bostick and Jada Peebles. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement, please?
You know, that obviously we came here to compete and win the game, but could not be more proud of these guys and this team, you know, for fighting, competing, had a great first half, you know, really did what we wanted to do. And then the second half, that third quarter, just really, it really was a difference in the game. And then the rebounding, I knew the rebounding was going to be key. We were down only 4 on the boards in the first half, and that's why the game was, you know, we're down 1. And then they kind of just took off some turnovers and then led to some easy layups, gave them momentum, and we couldn't score in the third either. So, you know, 8 points, you're not going to win in an NCAA tournament or really anyone if you only score 8 points. So, and then, you know, the rebounding separation was just too much, and there was multiple possessions where they got 2 and even sometimes 3 boards, and you just can't do that. But again, so proud of our fight. There was a time where, you know, we could have given up at the end, and we just kept battling, kept competing, kept fighting. You know, I really knew we had to shoot it better, and we were 4 for 20. That would have helped a lot, just kind of alleviate some of, you know, where we're not always having to attack if we can get some inside out and get some threes, and they just weren't falling for us tonight. So just one of those games, credit Mississippi State, you know, but doesn't take away anything that we did this season. We had an absolutely amazing season and got somewhere that no one you're lying if anyone in here said we'd be here. So just really, really happy for these guys to be able to experience this, and now we're going to learn from it, and we're going to use this as motivation coming back because we have pretty much our entire team coming back besides Gio, and we are going to learn from this and use this as we go into next season.
Thank you, Coach. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll get a microphone to you. Questions for the student athletes, please?
Hi, I'm Anderson Kimball here on review for both of you, Kendall and Jada. After experiencing this for the first time, what can you guys learn and kind of maybe take this into the future?
I think, you know, overall, just kind of playing in this environment, you know, the NCAA tournaments is different than most other games. There's a different kind of like pressure with it. So I think just being here and kind of feeling the game out, feeling the atmosphere out, I really think like this group will take that next year and we'll know what it feels like. So we'll be a little bit more comfortable, but there's, you know, plenty of things to learn from this game basketball wise and just being here.
I feel like it was just the level of like fight and intensity for 40 minutes, playing a different team off another conference. I just think it's a different level of fight, and you just got to come every single play. And like I said, the third quarter just really did us, but it's just a different level of intensity when you are on that court.
Matt Stevens, Illinois, guys. Kendall, can you walk us through what's going on with your right leg and how much treatment and what you needed to do to even get on the floor tonight?
So it was just kind of just injured in practice last week, and I've been with, you know, Autumn, our trainer, like 2 and 3 times a day for hours at a time, just trying to get it back to normal. But obviously that didn't really happen just with us getting kind of an earlier game than expected. So, you know, just trying to work through it and just trying to do the best I can. Got a lot of stuff on it right now. So, but yeah, it's just been a lot of treatment and a lot of just kind of PT stuff.
Joey Wagner with the Line Carter. I guess for both of you, Jada, if you could start. I know what you're saying, but how could you put a bow, I guess, on what this season was for you guys and maybe what it meant to you personally having been to this point?
It means everything just to be this point. I mean, we just talked about it in the locker room. Like, no one would have thought that we would have been at this point at the beginning of the season because the first practice obviously wasn't too hot, but it was just so surreal going through the season, just how we were so together from like the start of it and just how we all came together throughout the season and then went through all these ebbs and flows, all these ups and downs. Like, we just really fought through every single moment and every adversity together.
Yeah, just kind of going off that, like just as fast as we gelled, I you know, playing this being pretty much my third new team, I was pretty surprised with how fast we gelled, and I think that really kind of propelled us initially, and then we were able to really, you know, build off of that through the season as we learned each other a little bit more, learned the system a little bit more. And like Jada said, that first practice was atrocious, but it's just crazy to see kind of the growth from venting out, and it'll be great because this summer we won't have to spend, all our practices working on just the basic fundamentals of basketball. Like, we can really kind of, pick and choose what we work on, like kind of critique some of our games and stuff. So I think, just kind of being here and being able to do this is great.
Kendall, especially with what you were dealing with injury-wise, just how much of a challenge was their post player for Mississippi State going into the game, and what you kind of see from her?
I think if I would have been healthy, it would have been a different game. I definitely think I could have, banged around with her a little bit more, brought a little more offensive game to it. But, it's just hard just to it hurts to really plant my foot, so it's kind of hard to make slides, especially with her being so big. But, she's a great player. She had really good, touch around the rim. She rebounds really well. So, I think it would have been a different game. But obviously, like, Gio did a really good job on her, being able to kind of, be physical with her, alter some of her shots, get really good rebounds. So I was really proud of Gio for being able to go in and just kind of compete with her. But I definitely think it would have been a different ball game if we all kind of, the bigs would have been healthy.
Kendall, Jada, how do you guys think that a season like this can help build the program and build the culture around this team in the future seasons to come?
I definitely think it just really shocked everybody, and it just shocked recruits coming in as well, and just seeing how we changed the culture ourselves with just being in this culture for only a year. I just think that it's only up from here, and we made a huge impact on a year, so there's just so much to look back on.
Yeah, I think it was great to play in, but I know it's crazy from the outside. But just being able to be in this season and playing in this season has been really great. So I know for recruits and stuff, and for our fans that traveled here, it's got to be really cool for just from the outside looking in. So I think it'll be really, really good for the future. And knowing this program is only going up, I mean, that's got to make people excited.
Any more questions for the students? Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
And now we can take questions for the coach.
Yes, Shauna, just now knowing what we know that Kendall was dealing with, I mean, what was the week for you like, just maybe with that in the back of your mind, and then to see her go out there and just try to give something?
Do you really want to know? No, just kidding. I mean, just talk about the worst timing of having, an injury, but it's life and it's basketball. That's why I'm so proud of both her and Bryn. I mean, Bryn hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, and hasn't literally ran up and down the floor, but we don't have the numbers, and against these guys, we really couldn't go too much, we couldn't go small that much when they went big. So it wasn't a great matchup when knowing the injuries we had. And then with Kendall does so much for us. I mean, you guys know that. She does so much. And literally the doctor, explained it to me last night, just from it's one thing, she's tough, and she toughed through it. But just from the muscle standpoint, it can't, react and explode the way that she needed it to. But, I mean, and I thought it would be if we had zero scoring inside. I mean, I couldn't even really call. So you guys have seen us play. Normally I'm calling stuff, getting the ball inside. I would have, tried to ISO her a little bit and brought her out, and then have KB rip and go and drive and try to get her into more foul trouble. So it kind of limited our playbook, and then put way more pressure on our guards. And then Bryn's not back offensively. When you haven't played in 2 weeks, you're not going to really have the rhythm. So I thought she did a pretty decent job defensively and rebounding, but she just didn't get the shots that she normally gets. So yeah, it was obviously, I mean, no excuses, but it is what it is. They're major pieces to our team, and it's just unfortunate that KB was not 100% tonight.
Andy Olson, WCIA TV. You mentioned the third quarter already. Was there something different that Mississippi State did coming out of the break that messed with your guys' flow on that side of the court?
No, I mean, I thought they pounded it in a couple times more. They went into Carter more, off just initial action, where they weren't doing that before. They were running more of their chin action and keeping her high. And she scored. She had 10 at half, and I thought we did a really good job at her. Now, they did a good job in the second half. They probably also saw that KB might have been a little limited and said, hey, we're going to go inside and test her. And so credit them, and they pounded it in. She got a few easy ones. And then I just saw we had, 2 or 3 turnovers to start the half, and I thought that was total momentum changer. It just – the confidence kind of comes out of you, and they were able to get layups out of it. So I thought that was really a swing. They pounded it in. We had a couple turnovers, but there was the same pressure as it was in the first half.
Sean, there's a lot of talk about Mississippi State's size, obviously, in the paint, but how much of their length really bothered Jen tonight and what she wanted to do offensively?
I don't know. I don't know if it, we've seen and faced, long teams in the Big Ten that guard really well. I thought Jen got some open looks. They just didn't go in either, And then, she got a couple deflected, but I told her I didn't care. I wanted her to shoot those. We got to the rim at times. We missed some easy bunnies in the first half, but we were right there. So, some of those wide open threes, again, if we hit a couple, I think it gives us more life. I don't know how much it affected her. I think we've seen it before. And their guards aren't overly long. They're similar to us. I know they may put them taller on the roster, but I didn't think it affected her that much.
Thanks. So returning the core you're returning, what do you think you guys can build off this and accomplish next year and the next 2 years?
That's the one thing that's a great feeling, is knowing as, you have pretty much your same team coming back. And obviously with only one senior. So that's huge. And I told them, if we can keep this core together and add pieces, around it, we need more depth. We need some more size. You guys know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And it's just like the sky's the limit. I truly believe we got here. And again, there was times tonight we had 3 healthy people on the floor. And we still had opportunities. So with what they've learned, the journey that we've been on, the growth we've made, it's one thing I know. Last year, and KB was right. She said, last summer it was about, I'm teaching them, how the footwork I want them to shoot. I'm teaching them layups. I'm teaching them how we pass. I'm teaching them terminology. We're trying to grow as a unit just in getting to know each other. Where now I have a crystal clear vision of what we need to get better at. And believe me, we're going to work on it every single day. Some of the things that have been, the things that are glaring, and we're going to attack those, and we're going to be better for it. So it helps me, because I know now, and I know what each of these guys needs to improve on. I know what we need to improve on collectively. And that knowledge is power, and we're going to attack those relentlessly in the off season.
Joe Bazzelli from the News Gazette. Just the first half from Makira, what she was able to do there, what you kind of see from her, and what kind of made the difference for her in the second half be not as effective, I guess?
Well, because she plays 40 minutes every game, and I think she just gets worn down. And in that, it hurt when Jen got those fouls, because if you notice, Makira then had it, because Makira will let Jen take the ball up sometimes, and that she can get a little bit of a breather. When Jen went out and she had to play, and this team too, it's not like she's just walking it up there and no one's around her. They're up pressuring her. They're harassing her up there. So everything, and then we have her guarding their best player, and then she has to score for us. And again, because we're not really able to score inside when we really don't have a healthy post player, so I'm asking her to do a lot. And I think Jen being out, and she had to have the ball in her hand. She had to do this. She had to do that. I thought she wore down a little bit. I really do. But I'll tell you one thing. She fought like crazy. She was the one leading. She's the one talking in the huddle. She's the one telling everyone, that to not give up, to continue to fight. So I could not be more proud of her. Yeah, the shots didn't fall, some of those in the second half. But if she was short on everything. So that's, again, where we need depth. Because even a minute break, even 1 little minute break could give them that. I don't know if they had a kid that played 40 minutes. I didn't look at it that closely, but they got a lot of players that they can mix in.
We have time for 2 more questions, please.
Just thinking about Gio, her decision to come back and use a 5th year. She's one of the team captains, played big minutes in the second half. pretty emotional coming off the court. Just what has she meant to this program this year, and maybe in what ways does she contribute both on and off the court?
Yeah, just her positivity and the vibes that surround her. I said I'm gonna miss her because every day she makes me smile, she makes me laugh. She's just a really good person, and what makes me happy the most about Gio is that she really appreciated this year. Like, she really soaked it in, and she was present, and she could have, she wasn't playing a ton of minutes. She could have given up or, had a bad, like, she was the most positive, the loudest every day. And I think you saw what it means to her by her emotion coming off the floor. And we're going to miss her. We're going to miss her every single day. And I'm happy that she got to experience this year.
I know you've been on this team defensively all year, but was that second quarter kind of a true reflection of what you've kind of wanted to see, which is, 10 minutes where they didn't let their offense dictate the defensive end of the floor?
Yeah, I thought the whole first half, I really thought we guarded. I mean, there were some slides, and no one could get by us. We're helping in, 5 people guarding the ball. We're flying around. It was very solid, very disciplined, right on with the scout. We let 23 get those 2 threes. That was the only thing that we didn't do a good job of in terms of following the scout, because we know she's a shooter. But otherwise, I was really, really happy with, with how we guarded. And now, how can we gotta now get to the level where that we're able to guard like that for 40 minutes? Because I said there were some really pretty plays out there when we were making some slides, and we were finally doing what I wanted them to do with pulling in and everyone guarding the ball. And then we just got to continue to try to finish plays with box outs. But again, we did a decent job of that in the first half.
And that's all we have time for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Okay. Okay. That was okay. Good evening. Time to get started. I'd like to welcome Mississippi State head coach Sam Purcell, student athletes Anastasia Hayes, Jerkayla Jordan, Jessica Carter. We'd like to start with Coach's opening statement, please.
Wow, what a game to open up women's basketball. What a week for my young ladies. To think, just the other day, we're sitting at my house, crossing our fingers, looking at each other going, come on, just let us in. Let us in, because we put so much work in. And then for us to see our name go up, and we're going crazy, celebrating. And then the next thing you know, we're like, hey, we're in the play-in game. But they just have an attitude right now, an appreciation for the game, a love for the game, which you saw tonight. I'm the luckiest coach in the world, but like I keep saying, they're determined for big things and big goals, and our mindset right now is one game at a time. We have so much respect for Illinois because you had 2 teams. Again, I think it was great for women's basketball tonight, especially when there's not many games across the country. everybody has an itch for March Madness. I know my team does. And so to have two highly competitive teams just absolutely get after it, what a great night for us on the end.
Okay, thank you, Coach. If you'd like to ask a question to the media, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll get a microphone to you.
Justin Fromer, Commercial Dispatch. Jessica, you were on the 2019 tournament team. I know you played sparingly during that run. What did tonight just mean for you, getting back to this stage and having the night that you did?
It just felt good being out there with my teammates and my coaches, just having fun, really.
Anastasia.
No, I was going to say, she was having fun tonight. And I was having fun, too, watching her.
Anastasia, I guess, what have the last couple weeks kind of been like for you guys? Obviously, getting out of the SEC tournament earlier than you would have liked. Was there a mentality you kind of saw from this team, a hunger to get back on the court?
Yes, definitely. We were hungry. We've worked really hard for the past 2 weeks. Losing first game in the SEC wasn't what we wanted, but we knew we may had another chance to get to March Madness. And when we seen our name on TV, and we went back and we worked really, really hard, and that's all we did the past 2 weeks. Worked hard, worked on our execution, and just worked on just having fun, and yeah.
Quite a bit, held them to just 8 points. I guess what was said in the locker room at halftime, and what do you guys think was the difference for any of you?
Give it to Jerk. Jerk, you want to take it since you got a mic? No? Go ahead, Annie.
Coach showed us that we were doing well, but just to pick it up on defense, and we kept getting caught in ball screens. So that was the main focus, to just to go over the ball screens. And when we did that and we played defense and our defense turned into offense and we were just playing, we had fun. It was just like AAU out there for a second. So that third quarter was just fun. And
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
I'll second that. No, they just had a look. Again, I got a special group of upperclassmen that are sitting up here. I've been saying it all year that, you know what, it gets to a point where we as coaches need to get out of the way, and it's player-led. They were leading the huddles. They were leading those moments. We had breakdowns. They were together in the locker room, and they were just a team that was determined that they were not going to lose. And we've been saying it all year. Why not us? And we just love what's coming our way. We love when people doubt us. That's what motivates us. That's what drives us in the gym. We believe in each other, and when it comes to March, that's the only thing that matters.
Jessica and Jacayla, I know Coach Purcell won't talk about it much. So what does it mean to you guys that he gets his first March Madness win as a head coach?
Well, this is my first win too. So.
Amen.
Period. Honestly, I'm just grateful just to be here. I'm enjoying every moment of it, and like Coach Sam said, that's just the first win. When we get back to the hotel, one game at a time, and I have fun.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think this is that special sauce that we got going on right now. We've talked about all year. I've got, especially these three up here, they're really, 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 can I say one more time, really good individuals. But for teams to get to this point, it's more than just an individual, it's a team. So that's what is this special bond that we got going on. I've got a group of people back there at that hotel that, whether they're the athletic trainer, our senior women's administrator, our Dobo, we're all hands on deck right now. We're all trying to lift each other up and stay connected, and it's a vibe that it's fun to coach. When we all win, we all eat, and that's our mindset right now.
Anastasia, for you guys, Alana only played 4 minutes in that first half because of foul trouble, and she gets back in her second half. You guys kind of go on that big run, I guess. Outside of the stat sheet, how much do you think she contributed to what you guys were able to do in the third quarter?
She contributes a lot. She's a leader. Even though she didn't play the second half, she was still picking us up, or the first half, she was still picking us up, leading us, encouraging us. And, I told her at halftime, new game. So, and she stepped up, and, she's a really great teammate, and, yeah, she helped us a lot.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you, ladies.
Good job, ladies.
Thank you.
Where are these pictures going? Can we keep them? That was pretty good.
I'm mad that we didn't have the cowboy hat, Jerk.
I'm gonna go get a new outfit.
We'll have to get on Luke, who is in charge of the boombox today. If you saw Twitter, he was too busy making sure it was charged, so I think he forgot the hat.
If anybody would like to ask a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Questions for Coach?
I got two for you. The first being going off the question about Elena missing most of the first half. You guys get 20 bench points. Just
Yeah.
how big were the supporting roles?
It was huge. It was huge. I know I'm keep on repeating myself, but I kept telling my young women when we saw this roster when it first started, if you'll trust me and you're willing to work together, we've got something special here because we've got depth. We've got multiple people that can step up night in and night out. And I think I speak for any coach across the country. Sometimes the hardest thing in our job is when a certain power individual doesn't have that night, for them to be okay because you had a team win. And what you're seeing right now is my team wants to win. It's not about an individual. So when one goes down, the next one steps up. And it was just a beautiful performance from my young women that they just didn't want to lose. It was awesome to see.
And then you guys shoot 32% in the first half, but get to the line 12 times, hit 10 of them. They don't get to the line in the first half. Just how important was that aggressiveness and getting to the basket and getting those free looks?
No, it was huge because, again, Illinois is such a good defensive team. They make you work for everything. They clog the paint. We didn't want to come in here because, again, it's been a wild week. We found out that we were playing here. We had a shoot around the other day, but we had to go over so much of our opponent. We didn't get a lot of shots up. Today, we only had 1 hour, and I spent probably 40 minutes. So I knew there was parts of me that wanted to fill the gym, all right, which I love this gym, by the way, Purcell Pavilion, okay? Thank you. But just, again, don't settle for outside shots. We felt like we could have depth. We could go at them. We want to try to get them to their bench, and I thought we executed the game plan. But I also want to give a major shout-out to my staff. Again, I think with this play-in game, people understand the work that goes behind the scenes. When we found out, we were celebrating. I was celebrating my wife and kids, but my assistants had laptops right away, and they went to work. And again, that's that commitment that I couldn't be more proud to be the head coach. This was Corey Irvin's scout, but everybody on my staff contributed. There was moments in the games where I didn't make a right substitution, and that's that trust factor that you're seeing with me and my staff. They made some great calls. They gave me some great input. We were dialed in, and we didn't want to lose. And so now I'm going to ask them again when we get to the hotel, enjoy your meal, but we got to run it back. We got another one in 2 days.
Sam, first career tournament win as a head coach. Can you just take me through your emotions?
Here you go. You know you always get me. You get me. All right, I'm not doing it. No, again, it's not about me. I appreciate all the love and the recognition, but I would not be sitting here today if I wasn't coaching a great group of young women. For me to have my first year to get Annie Hayes, Jerkayla Jordan, and Jessica Carter, like, come on. That's the lottery. So, again, my goal as a head coach was just to restore the love. Love, like Annie said, she was talking about AAU. These kids who play AAU, they love the game. So I just wanted to restore the love, and then we got to Christmas, and then let's turn it up and become a team. So to answer your question again, it's awesome. I'm blessed with a group who believes in me. They trust me. They got my back, and then you'll see the locker room videos. They also dance with me, and I love it.
Sam, I know you and Sean are both first-year coaches here.
Yeah.
What's the key to earning that trust in the first year, and what did you see from her then, doing that kind of alongside you as well?
Yeah. No, obviously I have a great respect for her. I think we're both fortunate because if you look at our pedigree and the people before us, we've had great mentors and great coaches who've poured into us. So when given the opportunity to run our own program, we're prepared. We know what winning looks like. We understand what it takes, but we also understand when you get hit in the face, how to maintain that and don't fold and panic, but you know what? Bring them back up. And sometimes I think the best coaches also have to point the finger, which I know she is because I've listened multiple times at Final Fours and speaking events, that when things aren't right, we'll also take the blame and we're not just going to put it on the kids. So when you have that culture and that right kind of mix, that's why you see two teams with where they're at in their first year.
Sam, you had mentioned it kind of being the only game on TV, the first game of Women's March Madness. I guess On top of that, you're playing against a Big Ten team, and I know you've said in the past you believe the SEC is the best conference. How much did that all kind of add to it of, wanting to go on and put on a show and get a win on behalf of, the conference and everything you guys represent?
Yeah, great question. I'm glad you asked that. The coolest thing for me, obviously in year one, when you talk about being a first-year head coach, my phone started like going crazy an hour and a half, and I'm like, well, my wife and kids are with me, so I know it's not an emergency. I'm like, who is blowing me up? And you know who it was? It was every SEC head coach. We have a thread, and they all were like, Sam, you set the tone, man. Good luck. Which, again, it's a special conference because you got special people. Do we want to beat each other night in and night out when we play in the conference? You better believe it. But also there's a class about how we go about things. There's a pride for what our league stands for. And for them to text me, being a first-year coach, and wishing me good luck and wanting us to set the tone, again, just I couldn't be happier to be in the best conference in women's basketball.
I know you always talk about why not us and how people have maybe written off Mississippi State women's basketball because the glory days might be in the past. But,
Amen.
Getting to the tournament was a big goal of yours.
Yeah.
And now you have a tournament win on top of that. What do you think that means for the program and proving those people wrong?
Well, based on my phone, all the recruits text me. It was a statement. Because again, there's so many narratives that could be easily put out there. Why go play for this guy who's never been a head coach? He has no earthly idea what he's doing. The program's done. Why go there? Because obviously there was great coaches before me, but they lost the juju. So for us to kindle that fire and embrace one of the best fan bases in the country, which I have, they're top 15 in the country, for them to join and believe in my young women and rekindle something special. And then obviously for us to get here and get to this point, we just didn't play, but we won. So now I think it's a statement across the country like, okay, they really have something special, which I know when this is over, it'll help a lot in recruiting and us moving forward.
Sam, you had to know that getting the ball in the paint was going to be your friend all night, but when you noticed that Bostic is obviously on one leg, was there talk at halftime about we have to throw it inside and we have to get it inside?
Yes. My coaches, I'm going to give them a shout out to them. Like, what are you doing? You're calling too many plays. Jessica Carter is the best thing out here right now. Get her the ball. And again, that's that chemistry I love with my staff. Again, I'm never perfect. I'm never going to come across that way. I make mistakes, and they clearly got me back in line, and we gave it to her. But outside the matchups, I've been saying it all year, Jessica Carter is one of the best stories of women's basketball. For the young lady to take a year off and to see her come back better than ever, but most importantly, have a smile and a joy that she plays the game at the highest level. It's awesome to watch. She blocks shots, but again, I think she had a charge, right? Like, who does that at her size? Who's willing to block shots but also sacrifice her body? But my favorite thing about Jessica Carter, she's the best person and the best teammate you could ever ask for. So in return, this coach better find a way to get her the ball more.
We'll have time for 2 more questions.
I know you talked about, NCAA experience, heading into the tournament, and we just talked about, Alana, she only gets 4 minutes in the first half and comes out and plays a huge part in that run you guys had there in the third quarter, I guess. What did you maybe even learn about her today that maybe you didn't even know in the past?
Well, I've always known her, obviously, because I coached her at Louisville. It's just her core. If you go back, there's a video I'll never forget when I was listening at the beginning of Media Day. They were like, or I think it's when I went to SEC Media Day. They were like, well, Alana, what's your goal? And she's like, you know what? I've been voted a captain. But within that captain, there's a responsibility that I take serious on my shoulders, that I'm going to lead these young women. And my biggest joy is when others succeed, I get a smile on my face. Who says that, right? So things are going well for her tonight, and that's what I thought right back to that moment. She was so happy for her teammates. It speaks volumes of her character, and I'm a big karma guy. Good things will happen to people like that who continue to act that way.
Any more questions? No?
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, South Bend, and especially the workers here. They're the nicest people ever. I've been saying that. I love this place.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable.
Thanks,
And thank you, Jesus, over there. Went to the church. My wife did, too.
Oh, yeah.